Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. On this video, you'll see all kinds of different meals that I was able to come up with using canned chicken as the staple item, and then of course using up several pantry items. The first meal that I came up with was chicken salad, which is our all-time favorite, not only for supper, but we also take this for lunches as well. We use a lot of grapes and a lot of celery, as you can see here. And then to jazz up the canned chicken, I like to put fresh lemon juice in it, and it just kind of brightens up the whole dish, and you don't really get that canned chicken taste. But of course, if you can use a rotisserie chicken, or you can boil your own chicken as well. I also like to put pecans in my chicken salad, but my husband is not as crazy about the pecans in it, and I also did not have any pecans. So if you have pecans or another nut in your pantry, then of course use them up if you like it. I will also be posting the recipes in the description box below. You can also add onions or green onions in this dish. It's very good. We like to eat this just with Ritz crackers or club crackers. It's also delicious on croissant or bread as a sandwich. The next meal I came up with was chicken quesadillas, and I just made some quick guacamole on the side, and I had it with sour cream. I love the Tofutti brand sour cream because it's dairy free. Here you can use, I just use 1 can of chicken, but if you have a larger family, then you would have to use more cans of chicken. Just made my own taco seasoning up, or if you have a packet of taco mix, and I would just dump that in. If you're just using 1 can, I would not use a whole pack of the taco mix, and I would just put as much or as less taco seasoning as you like. Normally we would use flour tortillas for our quesadillas, but I had these flat out breads. I had a couple packs of these. I had some mini ones, and then I had some larger ones that I needed to use up. So just use whatever you have on hand in your pantry. These worked out very good. With the ones that I made for myself, I used my vegan mozzarella cheese, and they turned out delicious. And then I also made one without cheese, and it was very good as well. These also would be very good with a whole bunch of veggies. You could use black beans, corn, mushrooms, peppers, onions. This one was probably my favorite meal because I absolutely love Mexican dishes. Next up, I make a chicken noodle soup. I'm not a huge fan of chicken noodle soup, but this was really good. I was surprised at how quickly it came together and how it tasted like it's something that had been cooked on the stove in a crock pot for a really long time. If this is something that you don't eat all in one meal, the noodles will continue to soak up the broth. So if it's something that you plan on to eat a few days, I would definitely not cook the noodles in with the chicken and the broth, and I would keep them separated, and that way you will have plenty of broth if you like a brothy chicken noodle soup. I thought that we would end up eating all of this in one meal, but as you can see, it made a huge portion even though it was only 1 can of chicken. So what happened the next day when I got it out to eat for lunch, most of the broth was absorbed. So what I did when I heated it in the microwave, I squeezed on some fresh lemon juice, and let me tell you, it brought this dish to a whole nother level. I liked it even more than I did on the first day. It was super delicious and flavorful. Next meal I came up with was a Fiesta chicken chili. This soup was absolutely delicious. I loved it, and you could do so many different things with it. This soup was so easy to make. It was basically a dump and go kind of meal. You could also prepare this in a crock pot, and that way it would be ready for you when you got home from work. The last dish that I came up with was a chicken Alfredo meal. I believe this one was my husband's favorite. As you can see, I sauteed some mushrooms up to add onto the top of his. I started his with a homemade Alfredo sauce because I had ordered some Alfredo sauce from Thrive Market that is vegan, dairy-free, that I wanted to try for myself. The funny thing with this meal is that I had not realized that I had completely ran out of canned chicken. I thought that I had some more in the pantry, and then after I started this meal, I realized that I did not have any. I still wanted to add this in because it would be very easy just to add the canned chicken in your Alfredo once it's finished. And that way, if you need a recipe for an easy homemade Alfredo, you will have that below. It was super easy and super quick. If you know how to make a gravy, then you can make this homemade Alfredo. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at the cheese in that. It looks absolutely delicious. My husband loved it. Do not realize how much you miss cheese until you cannot have it. So now I heat up my dairy-free Alfredo sauce. I did not like the looks or the consistency of this sauce. And then when I tasted it, I did not like the taste of this dairy-free Alfredo sauce. It had a very acidic, I don't know, not lemony, but I don't know, it just did not have a good taste. I tried to doctor it up with my vegan Parmesan cheese. I still did not like it, so I ended up dumping it out and just making me a homemade version of Alfredo. I did the same process as I made Jason's Alfredo, except I did not put real Parmesan cheese. I used my vegan Parmesan cheese, and it was absolutely delicious. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helped give you some ideas of meals you can come up with using canned chicken or other items in your pantry.